Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Nick here, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. We're going to keep this one very, very simple. Listen, the main thing that I want you all to take away from this video is how revolutionary financial transitions can be. When I talk about that, I mainly want to address the transformation happening behind the scenes. Throw out speculation, throw out all the nonsense about price action and, XRP is about to skyrocket tomorrow, this, that, whatever. Throw all of that out of the picture. I want to ask all of you out there that are watching this video, from this point on, could you hold XRP for an additional 5 years without selling a single XRP? Could you withstand 5 years? Now, if your answer was no, first off, I do understand, I get it. But also, if your answer is no, then I want you guys to understand that you will miss out on one of the biggest transformations in the history of technology, finance, and also wealth creation. And the reason why I say that is because go back to any major transformation. This is why I say you need to focus on the fundamentals, because it's not always about price action. There will be people selling at 75 cents, at $1, at $1.25, $2, $3, $5, $10. And I don't blame them. I think that profit taking is crucial. But I want you all to understand that, yes, I do believe that the value of XRP is significantly higher, but it will take time to get there. We are on the brink of something very, very special right now. And I'm going to go over that in this video. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Huber here. He's quoting a tweet that got posted by History in Memes. And when you see 30 years ago, people couldn't imagine to use credit cards for daily payments. You know what's funny about this? I think that credit cards were the last major transformation outside of, just upgrading internal systems that we've actually seen around finance. Like, debit and credit cards came out initially around like the 1960s. Credit cards weren't really a big thing up until around roughly the 90s. And when you see people in 1993 react to credit cards being accepted at a Burger King. Check this out.
All right, let me see. What will it be?
We're here to go.
Would
you like ketchup on that?
Well,
Large or small fry?
Cash or credit?
What?
The home of the Whopper is offering cash or credit.
I think it's pretty bad if you have to use a credit card when you go to a fast food restaurant for something as little as $3.10.
If I use my GM card, I get a 5% rebate.
Thank you.
If I eat here long enough, I'll be able to buy a pickup truck.
Burger King bosses say workers won't have to figure out how much change the customer gets back.
I just hope it doesn't slow things down at the cash and carry, that people are going to be having to call New York and get the confirmation or whatever it is, because when I want a Whopper, I want it now.
Just another way to spend money. I'm sure it'll work for people on vacation when they don't have to do something, but I can't imagine it working on a day-to-day basis here.
So far, the smallest credit has been for $2.50, the largest just over 10.
And you know what's funny about this is that many people will criticize these new innovations, but then all of a sudden they will be utilizing these innovations. We're talking about using credit cards here for Burger King. Now, today, credit cards are utilized for nearly anything and everything. And of course, we're not seeing credit cards being the only value transfer service for payments and payment technology, but it is a big aspect. Credit card debt right now is actually sitting at about roughly almost $1.3 trillion, just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective on how heavily credit cards are actually utilized today. But outside of that, yes, I do believe that the next major innovation is crypto, blockchain, whatever you want to call it. DLT is obviously the biggest aspect. That's the biggest terminology that we see being utilized by the BIS, the IMF, and the big organizations. Here we have JP Morgan is exploring blockchain-based deposit token for payment settlement. This was a big one. A lot of people thought that this was going to kill certain tokens like XRP, which I think is comical. It's not, many of these other banks don't want to utilize JP Morgan's coin. That's why we will start to see a lot more of those coins. But then also we have from the IMF, technology behind crypto can also improve payments, providing a public good. Interesting. And this is talking about improving cross-border payments, leveraging technological innovations for public policy objectives. By the way, Tobias Adrian, which is an individual that spotlighted Ripple and XRP back in like roughly 2019, is one of the individuals writing this article. And they are also talking about the Financial Stability Board, talking about regulations. The FSB is actually one that gave Ripple the green light to really kind of provide feedback on a global crypto framework back in 2022, December 2022, by the way, in the middle of a lawsuit. It's kind of comical. And then also over here, Swift. Swift starts beta testing CBDC connector. This was on the 13th, roughly about 4 days ago now. So think about that. One of the largest networks out there around banks. Now we do know Swift is a dying breed, which again really kind of puts me in a spot to think, what will be the new Swift? What's going to be the next major network? And Ripple kind of seems like one to really kind of be starting to build out this major network. We know that Swift could essentially tap into RippleNet. Don't know if that's going to be the case though. And then also the BIS, September 13th, again, 4 days ago. The BIS calls for blockchain-based sustainable finance solutions. Again, the DLT initiative explores the potential of blockchain to address environmental, social, and also governance challenges in the financial sector. Now, they will utilize any sort of example that they need to adopt this technology. But we all know that this technology is far more advanced and efficient than anything else out there. And I also seen a comment saying, let's hope that something else doesn't come along that's better than crypto and DLT, that's more efficient. And honestly, I would argue that there's really nothing else out there that is more efficient than DLT and crypto and blockchain. And if there is something that's more efficient, then it's probably well beyond our reach right now. And it will probably take at least a couple decades to advance that. But again, DLT, blockchain, crypto, like I said, however you want to call it, this is, in my opinion, where the next major stepping stone around finance and our entire everyday realm is kind of headed. I think that everything around us will soon be moving on DLT and digital rails. Now, also, outside of that, talking about mass adoption and everything around us being disrupted by this type of technology, check this out. So XRP Drops posted this. So Ripple paves the way towards mainstream adoption, Ripple branding. So back in 2017, we had XRapid. Then 2019, we had ODL, on-demand liquidity. And then September of 2023, we get Ripple payments. So this was a big thing. Everyone was, in outrage over this, but we know that this was all nonsense. Here you guys have it. So on-demand liquidity, Ripple payments, a trend in the transition from crypto jargon to more mainstream. So like I said, a lot of people, and shout out to Wrath of Kahneman, a lot of people were taking this a little bit too serious. A lot of people thought that Ripple was replacing on-demand liquidity and replacing XRP in their business suit, if you will. But what do you see over here from an individual asking Emmy? So Emmy, for those that are not aware, this is the VP strategy and ops at Ripple. But over here, what do you see? I think the page about on-demand liquidity has disappeared from Ripple's website, but will no longer be called on-demand liquidity. There is a page called cross-border payments, and there is information about the XRP bridge function, etc. And here we have her responding, yes, on-demand liquidity is a word that is difficult to understand at first glance for outsiders, so we have decided to consolidate it into the term Ripple payments. On-demand liquidity still exists as a function. And down here we do see, thank you, Emmy, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to reply. As expected, the word on-demand liquidity will no longer be used. XRapid on-demand liquidity to Ripple payments. Just the name of the remittance using XRP gives you a sense of history. And here we have, this is a trend in the transition from crypto-like jargon to more mainstream. And again, mainstream adoption will happen. It's really only a matter of time. But I don't think that mainstream adoption is going to happen the way most people really kind of look at it, right? At first glance, when you think Ripple payments, you're not seeing XRP. unless you're actually doing the research. And the thing is, retail won't take that step, right? If it's not on front face value, they are not looking beyond that. It's kind of like the old, quote, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I hate to say it, but the retail sector is too lazy to turn the page and really kind of look into the book. It's the same thing that happens with Ripple, right? Like, most people don't know that Ripple even has any ties to XRP. Most people still think that Ripple is XRP and like XRP is Ripple, which is just not the case. But when we really kind of look at value transfer, I do think that Ripple has the upper advantage here. And also, as we really kind of look at the transition here, things are moving very fast around payments. ISO 2022, let's do it, posted this. The payments industry makes major upgrades every November, plus November 2023 is expected completion of ISO migration. Check this image out. So this is the image. Let me zoom in for you guys. So the payments industry adopting ISO 2022. And here we have November, 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 and November. And here you guys have the high value payment system plus, and then the CBPR plus. As you guys do see, this is moving pretty quickly. Now, again, I've talked about the idea of November of 2023 and how we shouldn't be looking at this as a major date for price action. Anyone that is telling you that ISO 2022 is going to result in XRP going, parabolic or skyrocketing in value, I would personally block that person. And the reason why I say that is because this is standardization. This will open the doors for innovation. This will also allow banks, for the first time in history, to be mandated on innovating their internal systems. And what do you think they're going to use? Do you think that they are going to use traditional technology? No, because it's not changing anything. They want to utilize the best in class technology. They want to utilize technology that is also going to save them money. Listen, there was a quote from an individual around the blockchain space, and he said it the best way possible. And it's a quote that really kind of lives with me. And it's, if you can get a bank to hold XRP, right? And if it could save them money, why wouldn't they hold XRP? It's the same exact way that if a bank could tap into this technology and save money and compete with the big banks, why wouldn't that bank do that? The banking sector is a monopoly. We know this, we've talked about it. JP Morgan, for the first time in history, has been holding over 10% of the US deposits. That is a monopoly. When you look into that, that's a problem. We need to level the playing field, to quote Ripple, right? When you have the smaller banks tapping into something like on-demand liquidity, or even if you had Bank of America tapping into on-demand liquidity, because we know that they were waiting on the sidelines, all it takes is one. All it takes is one to tap into this and realize the efficiencies. Competition will be unlocked, and guess what? Game is over. Every single bank will line up. I've talked about this in the past as well. This is why I say pay attention to the initiatives happening. Listen, even if these articles, like this is all from September. This IMF document is from February of this year. The SWIFT document is from September. The BIS document is from September. Even if a bank was exploring blockchain and DLT and crypto 5 years ago, don't think about it as, oh, it's 5 years old, it's useless. I see a lot of people using that as an example now around Ripple. They're saying, oh, well, Ripple, this news is from 5 years ago. I don't care if it was from 5 years ago, 5 days ago, 5 months ago. What we have is confirmation that the banks are looking into this technology. What we have is banks are building connections with the private sector. This should 100% be focused on. We're not here for, like, when we look at this space, I ask all of you, if you could hold for another 5 years, not because you have to, but because I do believe that over the next couple years, specifically 5 years, this space is going to be tapped in by billions of people. It's also going to be tapped in by trillions of dollars. Big banks are looking into this space. And when we look at JP Morgan wanting to explore blockchain-based deposit token, like, this is big, because if one bank does this, every other bank is going to do it, and you still need something in between that to settle that. You still need a decentralized bridge currency, because banks don't want to utilize a centralized currency from another bank. They just don't. That's walled gardens. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Peace out.